It is a dangerous thing to fall into the trap of comparison because usually there are only two outcomes. First being that you feel that you don't measure up, and then you start to change to try to become something that you're not, or you become discouraged and that you stop doing altogether what you've been called to do. The other is pride. You look at what you're doing or your ministry and you think it's better than what somebody else is doing just because of what you see on the surface, and then your heart begins to harden. Paul, who could have easily fallen into pride or could have easily been discouraged because we learned that his writing was great, but his public speaking wasn't as great, gives us this warning. He says, by the grace given unto me, I say, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to. He says, hey, you need to recognize whether you think your gift is big or whether you think it's small, it was given to you as a gift from God. He says, yes, there are many of us, but we are all playing for the same team. We are not competing against one another. We are here to strengthen and bless one another. For those of you who have fallen into pride and think you're better because your gifts have more of a spotlight, let me remind you what he says in 1 Corinthians. He says, who makes you different than anyone else? And what do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as though you did not? And for those of you who have let comparison strip you of your gifts, Paul gives this encouragement. He says, if your gift is to serve, then serve. If it is to encourage, then encourage. If it is to teach, then teach. Just do what you have been called to do and do it for God's glory. Because ultimately it's a heart matter. Are we trying to please men or are we trying to please God? Are we trying to get some of the glory or is all the glory to God?